If your child isn't motivated, it doesn't mean that they're lazy or broken. It often looks like procrastination, avoidance, or giving up too quickly. And that's when most parents start pushing harder. But motivation doesn't disappear for no reason. When kids lose it, something essential is missing. And once you see what that is, everything about how you support them is gonna change. In this episode, I'm gonna explain what kills kids' motivation, and by the end, you'll have a clear, practical framework you can use to consistently support your children's motivation without pushing, bribing, or nagging. My name is Efrat Amira. I'm a mom of 3 boys, ages 4, 8, and 12. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm passionate about integrating ancient wisdom into the way that we parent our children today. Now let's dive in. How does lack of motivation look in kids? A kid who wants to be on the screen all day. A kid that's not working hard in school. A kid that is not helping around the house. A kid who just seems to lack life force and energy. Now I want to suggest 5 reasons why this may be happening. It may be happening because a lack of agency. It may be happening because the child is too self-focused. It may be happening because a child gets everything too easy. It may be happening because of a lack of meaning. It may be happening to a child that doesn't believe that he has real influence over the world. So let's break down, what does it mean, a child that doesn't have a sense of agency? A child that doesn't have a sense of agency means that he doesn't feel that he has real choice over his life. Means that he feels like he's always being told what to do. Nothing is really his decision. So what can we do about that? What we need to do is we need to let go of everything that is our children's responsibility. What is our children's responsibility? Our children need to be responsible for their stuff, their room, their homework, learning for exams. They need to be in charge of helping around the house and things that they are responsible for. They need to be in charge of their social life. They need to be in charge of making decisions of what to eat and how to dress. So the more we put on our children responsibility, the more we let them make their own choices and decisions, the more sense of agency that they will have, the more motivation they will have in their life. Now, we have to understand a principle about responsibility. If your child is not taking care of themselves, if they're not putting the effort in school, if they're not cleaning the room, if they're just sitting around and not making any effort for their life, it means that they feel like they're not responsible for it, right? And responsibility can't be upon 2 people at the same time. If you're holding all the responsibility on yourself, it means that your child is letting go of that responsibility. So you have to put the responsibility on them. Now, you're not putting the responsibility on them from a bad place. You're not doing it in order to punish them. You're doing it because this is for their own good. And when you convey that to them, they have to understand that this is the place where it's coming from. You have to tell them that in a very matter-of-factly way, that they don't feel like this is something that is against them. So what can that look like? It can look like telling them, hey, listen, from now on, you're in charge of cleaning your room. This is not my responsibility anymore. And then truly, really let go of that responsibility. Don't nag about it. Don't ask them about it. Don't even look at the room. Just know that this is outside your realm of responsibility. You can tell them, hey, listen, from now on, I'm not in charge of your homework. And really stand behind your word. Don't ask them about their homework. Don't try in a manipulative way to understand what's happening with their homework. Just really, truly let it go. Let them know that it's their responsibility. When it's their responsibility, they have agency over it, and they will learn from the natural consequences that will come from school if they don't do their homework. This actually makes your life much more easier as a parent. Let's break down the second thing that may cause our children to be less motivated. A child that is self-centered. When a child is always asking himself or always having the thoughts in his head of what is in it for me? Why do I have to do it? What am I getting out of it? Right? If our children is always asking what is in it for them, then they won't feel motivated to do it unless there is something for them to gain from it. So they don't understand why they have to help around the house, why they need to clean the room if there isn't anything there for them. We have to help them change their mindset into understanding that working hard and contributing to something that is not related to them, that is for somebody else, that is for the families, that is for the house, that is for a bigger vision, that is for a bigger mission, that is the present in and of itself. When you contribute, when you give, and not always think about what you get a deep sense of satisfaction in your life, and that is the gift in and of itself. So how can we help our kids change their mindset from being self-centered and ask what they can get to change it to ask what they can give? We can guide them, we can coach them, and we can give them that little push to show them and get them into action, get them into doing. Because once they get into action and once they get into doing, they will start to feel that natural dopamine that releases when you start to work hard, when you move your body, when you're making that effort, and they will start to feel that good sensation that come out of it. So the more we encourage them into action, the more we encourage them into giving, that way they will learn how good it feels to give others and not to be so self-centered and not to think about themselves all the time. There is a ton of parenting information out there. Books, YouTube, podcasts, social media. But you know what's missing? What's missing is daily guidance. How to deal with the day-to-day situations with our kids when they're not doing their homework, when they're not cleaning the room, when they're fighting all day, when they're just not cooperative, when they're being bullied at school. Every day presents so many challenges as parents that we need to deal with on a daily basis, and many times it feels like we need to do it all alone. That is why I created the Parenting Wisdom community. In this community, you will get daily support from me, where you can post your questions, things that are troubling you in your parenting, and I will guide you step by step on how to deal with it. In addition, you're going to get monthly parenting workshops that are going to be exclusive to this group. Find all the details in the link in the comments. I hope to see many of you there. Let's break down the third reason why children are not as motivated today. There is a huge problem that our kids' life is just too easy. They get basically everything that they want and everything that they need in a press of a button. Our kids have an abundance of toys, abundance of clothes. They have every sports gear that they need, this beautiful house. Our kids are living in an abundant time. And it is very hard to really be motivated when you actually have everything you need. You have a computer, you have a phone, you have internet, everything is like right on the palm of your hand. So how can you get motivated in a world like that? It's very hard. So what is something that we can do as parents? We can deprive our kids a little bit of things and get them working hard for something. Get them to work in order to get something that they want. Let them get that sense, that feeling of what it means to work hard for something that I want. Don't give them things so easily. I know that this is sometimes hard to hear, but our kids don't need to get everything that they want. It's not good for them to get everything that they want. We need to deprive them a little bit, although we live in this abundant society, so they can learn what it means to work hard to get something. You know, think about our parents or our grandparents, how their life looked like and how they needed to work hard, sometimes to get to school, sometimes to get food on the table, sometimes to help the family get a roof over their heads. Their life was much harder. So they were motivated to actually help and make changes. And that is good for a person. That is good for a human being. So see how you can make your children work a little bit harder for things that they want. And you will see that they will become much more motivated. Let's break down the fourth thing that may cause our kids to be not so motivated. Lack of meaning. We are not motivated to do things that we don't feel are meaningful for us. Maybe your child doesn't understand why he needs to work harder in school. Maybe your child doesn't understand why he needs to help around the house. Maybe he doesn't understand what is the meaning of working hard. Maybe he doesn't understand that he has a mission in this world. The actions that he does are actually important. So we have to connect our children to that bigger sense of meaning. And that bigger sense of meaning can come in a form of telling stories about people who did things that are really worthwhile in their life. Telling stories about our tradition. telling stories about our people, telling stories about our family and how we worked hard to get to where we are right now, telling stories about their grandparents and their history, connect them to something that is bigger than themselves, that is more meaningful, and help them see how they are part of a chain, how they are part of something that is bigger, and how their life is not only about them, but is a part of a bigger picture, that is a part of a bigger story. Help them understand where they fit into the narrative of your family, into the narrative of your religion, into the narrative of your tradition. It's so important to embed our children in something that is deeper, that is bigger than themselves. And the last thing that I want to break down is that maybe your child doesn't feel that he has an influence over the world. And if he doesn't have an influence over the world, he's just not motivated. Every person has a deep need inside of him to know that he has an influence, to know that he has an impact over the world. How can we give our kids the gift of knowing that they have an impact over the world? We do that by giving them a role in the house. We do that by letting them take responsibility upon themselves and be the leaders of something in the house, or be the leaders of something in our family. Let them feel the feeling of leading something and making decisions that have impact over other people, not only of themselves. Their choices can have impact on the whole family. Their choices can have impact on their siblings. Their choices can have impact on their future self. We have to help them understand how impactful they are. And when they understand how impactful they are and how every choice that they make is actually important, then they will become more motivated to work harder, to get off the sofa, to get off the screen, and to do something active in order to promote something that is important, in order to feel that they are fulfilling their role here in the world, in order to feel that they are here for a reason. So tell me in the comments below, which one of these 5 motivation killers do you see in your children, and how do you think you can start to change that today? I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this episode, check out another episode where I talk about how we can use natural consequences in order to build our children's self-confidence and character.